Hey everybody, thanks for clicking. Today we're going to do a hydro oil service on this is a BADBOY Maverick. Pretty similar to almost all these zero turn machines, but let's go through the bad boy. Let's show you what we need to do and let's get it going. All right, here's our machine. Like I said, this is a BADBOY. It is the Maverick, not the Maverick HD, but same machine pretty much. 60-inch deck on this one. And I believe we have 3200 series hydros. So we're gonna do a service. We're gonna show you how we do it. Let's get down here and take a look. All right, sorry about that. So these are your hydros. It has two hydros independent for each wheel. Right under there, it usually tells you that's the ZT3200. That's what's on these machines. And that's where the oil filters are, under those plastic covers right there. So let's jack this thing up for the sake of making the video a little easier and get it going. All right, before we take this apart, I'm just gonna show you up close here. One of the downsides to these protective covers, the oil filter is back there, is they collect a ridiculous amount of grass in there. You could blow it out with the blower a million times, but unless you get the air hose in there, and that's what I'm gonna do now, and clean these out. You can see it even on this one. See how there's so much grass built up in there? So we're gonna go ahead and blow that out now, because if you wait, then you pop that thing off and it just makes a mess. So let's try to clean it out first. Just another bit of information. Looking at those covers, it'll tell you, I show you in the video, what series hydro you have. And it also, if you do not have filters on your hydro, those are what they call non-serviceable hydros. I believe like a 2600 series or less. So that way you'll know if you have the filters, it's serviceable. If there's no filters, it is not serviceable. You know, as I mentioned in the video, you do not need to remove the wheels and do all this extra cleaning. But for the longevity of your machine, the cleaner it is, the better off. And I can't tell you how many times that I've done maintenance where like I've taken the wheels off and I got underneath and I found, you know, a loose bolt or a cable that came that I didn't even notice, something that was about to break. I think I had the clutch almost fall off the engine one time because the bolt vibrated out, you know. So taking a few extra minutes to clean off underneath and visually inspect everything has saved us a lot of headache, a lot of heartache. And you know, you don't want to have the machine break down. You need it to work when you need it to work. So just a few extra steps there, but they really save you a lot of time in the long run. So all right, now as you can see, we got it all cleaned out. Do you have to take the wheels off? Absolutely not. Do you have to blow all this stuff out? Absolutely not. I just think I'd rather work on a clean machine. And remember, the number one killer to these hydros is heat. So if the fan isn't working properly, or if they can't breathe because there's all that grass buildup in there, the heat could definitely go up. And that's gonna make the oil hot. You're gonna lose functionality, especially on hills. So I like a clean machine, so to speak. So let's work on that. And while we're under here, we're gonna show you what we're gonna do. We're gonna pop these covers off. I think there's two bolts. Then we're gonna unscrew the filter. Sorry, I'm crawling under here. And then one of the best things is, can you see that bolt right there? That's on top. That is the vent. If you don't remove that vent bolt, when you go to pour the oil in, it's a really slow process. So if you take that vent out, which also happens to be a self-leveler, you take that bolt out, and when you go to fill the oil, we're gonna show you this in detail, but it'll fill to the top, then you know the machine's full and there's no air bubbles in it. So you want to get those out. They're usually always in the same spot, right up there. Hey guys, so now that we got the filters reinstalled, we got the covers back on there. Sorry, I look crazy. Oh my God, just in case. We are using our Kawasaki 2050. That is what is suggested for this particular machine. Most of them use the 2050 motor oil. Some of them use different. Look up your machine and just make sure. But if it's the bad boy, this is the one we use. So we're gonna fill our reservoirs now. Like I said, make sure your filters are on, make sure they're clean, put the covers back on there. You're all done with that. Your vent screws are open and off. So now what we're gonna do, I think it takes about 2 quarts each. We'll find out exactly. You're going to dump in the first quart in each reservoir, and then we'll go to the second until those bleeder or those vent screws, until it starts to pour out of them. Then you know that the hydro part is full. You can go ahead and put those back on. We'll get to that step when we get there, and then level off with the reservoirs on top. So let's take a look. All right, here's the reservoirs. So now that you have your vent caps off, life's gonna be a lot easier. You're gonna get this done real fast. Let's get our, I don't know if I need a funnel for this, or should I just be brave? Let's try it. Let's be brave. I spilled it. Now this is how I do it. I keep one and one for the other, so I know exactly how much I put in each one, not using the same can of oil. Let's try not to spill it. Now we're just gonna let those drain down. They'll go right in. So it took like a minute for that to go down. It's not a big deal. And then we'll refill these again. Like I said, I think it holds about 2. You'll see it drain out in the bottom. Okay, so now we filled these reservoirs. We're gonna take a look underneath and see if the overflow plugs are draining. Okay, and now you can see both sides are draining. That means they are full to the overflow plugs. So now we're gonna go ahead and reinstall those plugs. All right, so we'll just put them in by hand first. These are 11/16, by the way, and these are 3/8 for the small caps, in case you were inquiring. Let's get this levelers here. So now the gearbox is full. There's no air in it. And if there is air in it, don't worry about it because it'll bleed out through the reservoir anyway. It's not the end of the world. It's just that this is a much faster way to do it. Per se, you can't get to your air drain vents. You can do it the other way. It just takes a lot longer to fill. Let's make a little noise here. 1, 2. All right, those are good. We are done underneath here. We're just gonna wipe that off and we're gonna put the tires back on and go from there. Okay, so we have the bottom end all taken care of. We have the vents back in, they're tightened. Everything is sealed underneath and the wheels are back on. So we topped off our reservoirs here to the line. You'll see there'll be a full cold line and another line there. You don't want to overfill these because they will bubble over. The reservoir will go up and down and you don't want to have that mess. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start the machine up and we're going to slowly spin each side a little bit, back and forth, back and forth. And what that'll do is that'll assure that if there is any air in there, it's gonna bleed it out. Because sometimes, no matter what you do, you get a little air in there, and that's just the process of bleeding it out. And then you'll know the wheels are reacting forward and back. You'll see they're both acting the same. That way you know you're good to go before you put it down on its wheels. So we still have it jacked up. I'll go around and show you that. So it's still jacked up. Wheels are off the ground. And like I said, we're gonna run it and we're gonna spin those wheels back and forth and make sure that they're fully reacting. So I'm gonna start this machine up and we're gonna go ahead with the bleeding process. Now this process only takes, it takes a minute or two. And the idea, just go nice and easy. You don't need to rev the engine up. Just keep it at pretty much an idle. And really slowly just move the sticks back and forth. That's all. You're just basically making sure that they're responding to the movement as you're moving it. As I'm looking backward, forth, and then you'll put them both forward and both back. It's really not like any kind of science to this. You just kind of want to move it around and get everything flowing and push any air bubbles out that are in there. But only takes a minute. And then, like I'll tell you, after this process is done, and you just go easy when you start it up and make sure everything's good. That's the deal, guys. That is how you do it. Like I said, you don't have to pull the wheels off and do all that extra stuff. And I cleaned it off really well. I just like to do a little extra. These are my machines and we try to take good care of them, but that's the way I do it. But basically, you just have to pop those filters off. You need, I think it took 2 quarts on each side and just a little bit more to top off the reservoirs. So you would probably want to make sure you get 5 quarts. You get the 2 filters, and yeah, that's all you need to do. And like I said, you saw how I bled the stuff out. As long as your wheels are reacting to the sticks, you're good to go. When you start it up, just go a little easy, go slow, make sure the machine's working the way it is before you rev it up and you push it full throttle. But that's really all you have to do. And I tell you, do the hydro once a year, no matter what. I don't care if you only do 50 hours a year, because the oil kind of breaks down, and this way you're getting the best performance possible out of your machine, and you want it to last. It's not a hard thing to do. In the description below, I have all the links for all the products. You don't need a whole lot of tools to do it. And yeah, it's really, like I said, you can save yourself a fortune by doing this yourself, not bringing it to a shop, as long as you're on that skill level. But by watching the video, you'll know if you can do it or you can't. Peace, everybody. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Look in the end screens at the end of this video for other maintenance on the mowers. We do pretty much all of our own maintenance, and we try to put the videos out for you guys to check it out. So if you like this content, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe. Peace, everybody. Thanks.